Hi, everyone. It's about time. May I request everyone to please have a seat? Namaskar and good morning to all our participants in the room. We are also telecasting today's event live through the ICAI Global Chapters. So a very good afternoon and very good evening to our members who are viewing our event live globally. My name is Ritesh Desai, and I'm the Vice Chair of the Toronto chapter of ICAI, and I will be the host for the opening ceremony for today's event. Welcome, and a very big thank you for being part of today's event, for taking time on a Friday morning and making it here. So a big round of applause to everyone. It's a support and encouragement from your participation, and that gives us the motivation to keep organizing such events. So thank you. Today's session is a very special one. The resounding success of a similar event last year at the same venue led us to multiple requests from the members, attendees, and even speakers, and which kind of motivated us to organize this event once again. So here we are in front of you. This is a big opportunity and a big professional setting that has enabled all of us to come together, and we have leaders from various industries. And more importantly, in this increasingly automated and digitized world, it gives us an opportunity to connect as human beings in person. Thank you for the support and encouragement. Further, this is the last such big event of our chapter before this year's Diwali, which we'll be celebrating in the next coming two weeks. So I wish you, on behalf of the chapter, a very happy Diwali in advance. Just very briefly, a land acknowledgement on behalf of the chapter. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by the Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. We like to begin our today's proceedings with the national anthems of Canada, India, and the anthem of ICAI. May I request all of you to please stand up? Can we have the AV, please?
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधितरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
य एष सुप्तेषु जागृति य एष सुप्तेषु जागृति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्द्वैता 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 एतद्द्वैता
Thank you. May I request all of you to please take your seats. Before we begin, some important announcements and some simple ground rules. To everyone present in this room virtually, this event has been recorded, and that by attending the event, you have consented to the recording. The recording will also be retained on the ICI Toronto website and may be socialized with various stakeholders such as our sponsors, speakers, participants, and social media. Request you all to please keep your mobile phones on silent mode. In case you have any questions or suggestions, for those of you who are attending in the room, you will see a QR code on your table. Please feel free to scan that and ask any questions. Just please request you to keep the video on mute mode when you're typing the questions. And for those of you who are attending this virtually, you have an option, the message box available. A member from our team will collect, and we'll do our best to accommodate all the questions and suggestions. Please, this is the marketing part that I always do. Please feel free to take selfies, as many as you like, and please do not forget to tag the Toronto chapter of ICAI. The title sponsor for today's event, Scotiabank, has set up a booth towards the back. Director of Talent Acquisition for Scotiabank, Jocelyn Carter, along with her team, is present at the booth. Please feel free to meet the team and then understand the opportunities with Scotiabank. Big round of applause for Scotiabank and helping us bring this event to you. Post-lunch, we also have two very interesting sessions. First on financial crimes and how we accountants, as well as others in the corporate and industry ecosystem, can partner together to deter this menace. Second, we have experts, Carmen Jacques from CPA Ontario and Helen and Urmila from BIPOC Executive Search Firm. Please do not miss these important sessions, as you are going to get insights from decades of experience of our experts and understand key points such as what companies are looking for in the candidates and who are either new to the country or who are looking for looking to upgrade in the existing market. Post the mentoring session, which is the final session for the day, the floor will be open for networking. The venue is available till 4:30. Please have some light refreshments and feel free to network. Finally, gifts will be handed out at the registration desk, towards the end of the session, only after handling the name tags. So please keep your hand tags very, very much. Agenda for today. We have an action-packed day today. We'll have a formal opening ceremony, panel discussion, then we'll pause for lunch. Post-lunch, we'll have the sessions on financial crimes and financial crimes data and ecosystem partnership, which will be followed by mentoring and networking sessions. I know I spoke a lot. I'll take a breath. I'll pause for a second. Just couldn't resist with a microphone in front of me. But like I said, do not let the appetizer spoil your food. Ladies and gentlemen, we now begin our opening ceremony. On behalf of the Toronto chapter of ICAI, may I invite the chairman of our Toronto chapter, the dynamic Mr. Vivek Kapoor. Can we have Vivek's AV, please? Big round of applause.
CA Vivek Kapoor, Chairman, Toronto chapter of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICAI, Canada. An associate member of the ICAI, Masters in Business Administration with specialization in Finance, and a Masters in Commerce with specialization in Banking and Finance, Vivek is an avid speaker and trainer and been a guest faculty in different management institutes in India. He was the chairperson of the Bahrain chapter of ICAI for 2016-17. Under his leadership, Bahrain chapter was awarded as the best overseas chapter of ICAI for the first time since the inception of the chapter in 1997. Vivek is the only chartered accountant to be the chairman of 2 overseas chapters of ICAI and holding the position for the 3rd time. He has trained for professional courses like AAT, CMA, and ACCA. Amongst the overseas presentations, Vivek has presented on valuations in different chapters of ICAI like Bahrain, Oman, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and Nairobi, Kenya. CA Vivek Kapoor.
Please. Next, our chief guest today is the Honorable Siddharth Nath, Consul General of India in Toronto. Can we have Mr. Nath's AV, please?
Shri Siddhartha Nath, Honorable Consul General of India, Toronto. Shri Siddhartha Nath is a career diplomat who joined the Indian Foreign Service in 2003. He has been posted in the Embassy of India in Beijing 2005-2009 and the Permanent Mission of India to the Conference on Disarmament in Geneva 2013-2016. Prior to his appointment as Consul General of India in Toronto, he served as India's Deputy High Commissioner in Singapore 2020 to June 2023. At headquarters in New Delhi, he has served in the United Nations Political Division 2005 as Desk Officer for Afghanistan and Iran 2009 to 2011 and in National Security Council Secretariat in New Delhi 2011 to 2013. He served as a director in the Prime Minister's office in New Delhi 2017 to 2019 and then headed the Internal Finance Division of the Ministry of External Affairs 2019 to 2020. He has studied economics at the Delhi School of Economics in India and Northwestern University in the US. Shri Siddhartha Nath.
Our second guest for today and the host for this event, without whose support, this event would not have been possible, is Mr. Raj Vishwanathan, CFO, Scotiabank. Can we have Mr. Raj Vishwanathan's AV, please?
CA Raj Vishwanathan, Group Head, and Chief Financial Officer, Scotiabank. Leading the bank's multi-year finance transformation project, Raj started his journey with Scotiabank in 2002, holding senior positions in internal audit and finance progressively. In 2014, as a senior vice president and chief accountant, he was overseeing capital management, accounting policies and procedures, and financial analysis and reporting. In 2018, he was appointed executive vice president and chief financial officer, and in his current role, Raj oversees the finance department, including business line finance groups, finance and strategy, economics, taxation, chief accountants, procurement, investor relations, group treasury, and strategic transactions and review. CA Raj Vishwanathan.
Back on the stage, please. Next, our guest for today is Ms. Shamira Madani, Managing Director, Canada, and Deputy Executive Director, World Education Services. Can we have Shamira's AV?
Ms. Shamira Madani, Managing Director, Canada, and Deputy Executive Director, World Education Services. Recipient of the Metropolis Policy Maker Award at the 2020 Metropolis Canada Awards of Excellence, Shamira is a guest lecturer at Queen's University and the Munk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy, University of Toronto. She joined WES in 2018 after more than 2 decades of government service in Ontario, with her last position being Assistant Deputy Minister for Health, Education and Social Policy in the Cabinet Office. Shamira also served as Chief Diversity and Accessibility Officer, ensuring that 62,000 employees met accessibility and inclusion goals. Shamira serves on the boards of Windmill Microlending, SHAD Canada, Herzing College Toronto, and the CERC Migration Stakeholder Advisory Board at the Toronto Metropolitan University. She was featured in Profiles in Diversity Journals 2019 Women Worth Watching Awards, which recognizes women who have demonstrated high levels of leadership. Ms. Shamira Madani.
Shamira, please. We would like to begin our today's proceedings with a customary practice of ceremonious lamp lighting. Can I have on the stage the board of the Toronto chapter for the lamp lighting? I would request, on behalf of the chapter board, Vivek and the dignitaries to please light the lamp. Can we have a group picture, please? you. Shamira. Thank you, everyone. May I now request Counsel General Honorable Siddharth Nath to say some few words.
Thank you, Mr. Desai. Mr. Vivek Kapoor, Chairman, ICAI, eminent panelists, and distinguished guests. It is a real privilege for me to be here at the opening ceremony of the North American Talent Summit 2023. I am relatively new in Toronto. I've been here about 3 months. But I'm aware of how successful last year's summit was, and I'm looking forward very much to the deliberations today. The theme of today's summit is both timely and important. And it's equally appropriate that the summit is being held here in Toronto, this very bustling and vibrant and dynamic global city. Because this region is testimony, as almost no other is, to the principle that in today's interconnected world, talent knows no boundaries. In the past week, I have been traveling between where we are now and through Waterloo and Windsor, Essex, speaking to companies and chambers and local development boards. And the constant refrain that I heard from all of them was, number one, an appreciation for Indian talent. Secondly, an awareness that there is a global race on for talent and a desire to remain competitive in that race. And a real appreciation for how much Indian talent has brought to the region. There was one particularly telling slide in one of the presentations which showed how, just to take one sector, how the tech sector has been attracting more talent in this region than almost anywhere else in the world, and how much the contribution of Indian professionals has been there. And that's, of course, repeated across sectors and across industries. It's also true that the North American continent has been a hub of innovation and entrepreneurship and economic growth for many years now. And there is, because of that, a unique complementarity with India on a number of parameters: demographics, skills, opportunities, trade and investment patterns, democratic and constitutional values, and geopolitics. The discussion today here reflects that shared vision of India and North America as we work together to address the challenges and opportunities in the ever-evolving global economy and the ever-changing global and national job markets. In recent years, the global workforce has undergone rapid transformation, and India has been at the forefront of changes with its highly skilled young population. Crucially, however, what conversations here and in Singapore, where I was posted before, and with the eminent dignitaries just before this session, bring out so clearly is that India today is not just the world's largest reservoir of talent, but also is developing rapidly a dynamic ecosystem that is also the fount of innovation, from startups to educational institutions, from the space program to renewable energy and the green economy, from fintech to manufacturing. India has both the ambition and the scale and the innovative dynamism to make a difference. So this is indeed a two-way street, where increasingly Indian companies are looking for talent for their operations overseas, and foreign companies are benefiting from the advantages offered by making in India for the large Indian market and beyond. But fundamentally, the challenges remain. Technology, automation, the rapid change of pace have disrupted traditional employment patterns and models across the world. The new world of work offers immense potential for those who are agile and adaptable and equipped with the right skills. And of course, ICAI is better equipped than anyone else to guide us on how the world is changing and what we should be looking for in the decades ahead. So this summit really provides a very valuable opportunities to explore some of those challenges and opportunities. The government of India has recognized that the talent landscape today is more competitive than ever before. And to succeed, there must be a focus on acquiring and honing the skill sets that the future demands. So while we do have some way to go, there is an increasing focus evident through initiatives such as the Skill India and the new Indian educational policy. We have also launched phase 4 of the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana to skill the youth, particularly in the needs of Industry 4.0. And there are, of course, a long list of initiatives which all of you are well aware of. It's also very appropriate that the summit focuses on North America as a whole. We've seen in the past year how policy changes and economic changes in one country in North America have affected talent and immigration and economic policies in its neighboring countries. For the global Indian, like the global skilled worker everywhere, is more mobile today than she ever was. The North American chapters of ICAI have been playing a pivotal role in shaping the financial landscape in North America and beyond, providing essential guidance and expertise in the ever-evolving financial sector. I would like to encourage even more close ties between the Indian and North American accounting communities to exchange best practices and further enhance the quality of financial services on both sides. A word regarding the special place that ICAI has carved out for itself globally. As I mentioned, I was in Singapore before this, and there is this friendly competition, I know, between various chapters. But I must tell you that in that other very vibrant, dynamic global city that I was in, by far the most substantive, the most well-organized, and the most professional, and the most useful events for both the public sector and the private sector were those organized by the Singapore chapter of ICAI. And I'm delighted to be here at an event organized by another ICAI chapter, which I know has lived up always to a very high standard. So thank you very much for inviting me here. I'm confident, as I said, that the insightful discussion today and the fruitful networking sessions that are planned would contribute greatly towards better understanding of the evolving talent landscape and to building a brighter future for both India and North America. In a future where talent is global and opportunities are limitless and innovation is ever more rapid, India and North America are natural partners. On that note, allow me to wish this summit all success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Consul General, for your insights and informative and interesting words. I'm sure with the insights that you shared, rich heritage, culture, and shared experience of the new age professionals in the two diverse economies and democracies working together will lead to further successes. May I now invite CA Baljit Kaliramna, past chairman of the Toronto chapter, to present a memento to Consul General. Round of applause, please. Thank you, Baljit. Ladies and gentlemen, the next speech is by an avid supporter of the profession and the Toronto chapter. I now invite the CFO of today's title sponsor, Scotiabank, CA Raj Viswanathan. Raj, may I request you to please.
This is a familiar circumstance for me, so it makes it a little easier. But it's also very threatening when I see a lot of accountants over here who I've gotten to know and are exceptionally intelligent. But it's also a very special day for me. And some of you may or may not know, by the end of today, it'll be 21 years in Scotiabank for me. So that to me is, it is a red letter day, keeping to the Scotiabank's theme of red, and I wear red almost every day as a tie, is why am I here in some respects, right? And I became a CA. It's the first time I've been addressed as a CA Raj Viswanathan, I think, that I can remember. And I'm very proud of it. Thank you for doing that. I became a CA in 1988. So my number is 28091, Southern Chapter in India. More than myself, my parents were very proud. I was speaking to my dad last night. They still live in India. I have a brother who's an exceptionally intelligent individual. So it's hard to live in that home, right? You're not so smart, even in your own home. And but the CA Institute gave me a stature when I passed the exam. Even within my own family, in my personal life, it still helps me till today. Most people think I'm a Canadian CA, and I'm not. okay? I happen to be the CFO of Scotiabank, which is where we all sit. The power of the qualification and what some of us have benefited from, I'm probably an easy example to talk about. And we live in a country which is a few thousand miles away from where I grew up. That's the global reach, as far as I'm concerned. A lot of you thank Scotiabank for hosting this. It is a privilege. And for me, it's personal. Like you pointed out, I'm a big supporter of the profession. I've learned a lot from the profession, and it's obviously immensely benefited me. But before I forget, we have a lot of audio video people behind there. And if you guys can step out for a minute, folks, I really want to acknowledge what you do day in and day out for all the events that we host here. And I want to thank you all. We're very proud of this place. We built it about a little over 5 years back. I think I remember my former CEO, Brian Porter, telling me, you're not going to like this, but you're going to spend a few $1 million. And I can tell you we like it. It's very hard to get this place because it's very popular. It's very convenient for our own bank events over there. And I remember, Vivek, you probably booked it like 6 months back to get it today. So it is a very popular place, and we're very proud that we're able to host many, many events. We do have another building across, which we moved a few months back, and those has got some exceptional facilities as well. A little bit about Scotiabank and why we support the Talent Summit. You folks have bottles in front of you. There's a caption which says, "For every future." That's what we stand for. That's Scotiabank, right? I can talk about it personally, as I mentioned earlier. I can talk about many of my colleagues who work with me over here, and including Vivek, for that matter. We do support for every future. And the way we think about it is, it's broad enough that you can make it your own, and it's narrow enough that you can understand it. So we're very proud of it. I was looking at the bottles. I was remembering that this morning, saying, this is fantastic, right, that we can actually see it. Scotiabank is a global bank, as many of you know. We operate in many, many countries across the world. We've changed our footprint. Over the years, like every business has to adapt to the environment that we are challenged with, or we have to react to in many, many instances. But eventually, there is one purpose. We do a lot for what we call stakeholders. The stakeholders would be obviously shareholders, but more importantly, our employees. We have over 90,000 employees across the world, and we're very proud of how we support them. And this bank started in 1832, and most of us can do the math of how many years it's been in existence, and we think we should be there at least for that many years beyond. So we take a lot of pride in running a good business, and we talk a lot about talent. We talk a lot about integrity in this bank. We know that we have a role to play, not just in Canada, but across the globe, and the connectivity that today exists across businesses. The Toronto chapter, before I forget, Mervyn Ramos, my good friend, my mentor, actually, he got me, I started working in KPMG first, thanks to Mervyn. And, this has happened today after 22 years or 21 years in Scotiabank today, and a lot of it has to do with my first employer, KPMG, when Mervyn used to work for KPMG, and, I think the world of him, and I know you were one of the founding members of this chapter. And there's a lot of you who I wouldn't know and the contributions you made, but these things don't happen across the world unless people come together. Vivek and I are sometimes train buddies. We live in the same town. And, I don't know how he finds the time. I can tell you that. I really do. Because he does a great job at the bank, which I know. So it's not like he's compromising elsewhere to doing it. But you do a really, really good job. I'm very proud of getting to know you over the years. So the profession is exceptionally important. Chapters like these, I think, keep us real, keep us also engaged to what is happening. I know the Honorable Consul General talked about today's agenda and so on, exceptionally important. I wish I could stay for the whole day. It happens to be year-end for us, right? October 31st. And we have a few things we announced yesterday, so I got to speak to a few shareholders and those kind of things. Otherwise, I would have loved to stay here. Learning is a lifelong journey, and I love to learn from other people. So this Talent Summit, it's year 2, correct? I couldn't make it last year, so I apologize for that. My good colleague, Arvind Kamath, I can see you over there, kindly stood on my behalf. Thank you, Arvind, for doing that last year. So I'm going to stop there, okay? So this has been a privilege and an honor to be asked to do this. Thank you all. And it's a privilege to share the dais with Shraddha and as well as the Honorable Council. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Raj. That was fascinating, and thank you for the wonderful insights that you share. We also thank Scotiabank for the support and helping us successfully host this event again. May I now invite on stage Mr. Joseph Selvaraj, President and CEO, State Bank of India, Canada, to give a token of appreciation to Raj. Joseph. Round of applause, please. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you. May I now request Ms. Shamira Madani, Managing Director, Canada World Education Services, to say a few words, please.
Good morning, everyone here, and if you're somewhere global, good afternoon, good evening. It's kind of interesting to be in a room full of accountants. It's feeling a little bit overwhelming. I would like to thank you giving me the honor of inviting me to speak for a few minutes and to be part of this opening ceremony with our distinguished guests. What I'm going to do is start with numbers because all of you are very familiar with numbers. So I'll set the context a little bit. I'll talk a little bit about World Education Services and the importance of the work that you're doing here. And I hope you invite me next year. This has been, in the last half an hour that I've been here, professionally organized and really huge opportunities for me to understand the good work that you're doing and what else we do need to do. So let me just start with some numbers. So we've already heard our guests speak about demographics in most countries, and it's shifting fast. We are basically competing with other jurisdictions. In Canada, about 5 million Canadians are set to retire by 2030, and that's a very significant number. And we basically have Canadians, including new immigrants who come to Canada, starting to have fewer children, an average of about 1.2 per family. And so you have a situation where highly educated professionals, including accountants, will be critical to ensuring that our workforce remains basically economically sustainable. That's really important in terms of what's happening around the world and especially in Canada. And so many of you heard on November the 1st when the Minister of Immigration made the announcement regarding targets and mixed, that Canada is preparing to bring almost 500,000 immigrants every year. So by 2026, it will be about 1.3 million immigrants who will come to Canada. And these are mostly highly trained professionals like yourselves here, 60% all economic class. And I know this because at WES we get about 450,000 applications, majority from India, because India is one of our source countries. So that's really important to note in terms of the work that you will be doing today, that you will be doing in the future. However, in a survey that we did with World Education Services in 2019, this was just before COVID, and the numbers were pretty significant in terms of the survey response rates. Although we had basically almost 80% of the survey respondents who were working, what we did find is that many were not working in their former occupations. They basically were either working in related occupations or had completely basically missed the opportunity. I understand in conversations this morning with some of the mentors, Baljeet and Deepak, that might not be an issue with this particular group. I'm not sure. But it's just generally I'm talking about professionals writ large in terms of what happens to individuals who come here. And so, in fact, one of the things, and given that we're in a bank, I'm going to quote, and I don't have basically, deep numbers other than to say that, as I understand what RBC Economics has estimated, that Canada forgoes $50 billion in GDP due to the immigrant wage gap. And I know that the Bank of Nova Scotia has done some studies to show that each individual who's entering the workplace is losing every year $25,000 in terms of the compensation gap. And that's not that great. So that's why I would really like to congratulate the chapter in terms of these kind of summits, because you have individuals who've been here for many years, who are mentoring and supporting those who are entering the system. And I think that it's a real start in terms of, the work that you're doing. And my hope is that what you could do is take the best practices and the many chapters that you have and think about basically almost like a ripple effect, doing this for other professions, for those who are coming from India, and basically sharing the best practices. In terms of World Education Services, as I thought that you might want to know in terms of numbers, as I said, we see a 500,000 assessments a year, basically from 21,000 post-secondary institutions across the world, almost 200 countries. And generally, in terms of the work that we do, and it's all digitized right now, is making sure that we do the assessments of educational qualifications. We also work with licensing bodies. What I realized is that in 2022, we received over 150,000 applications with studies from India, more than 1/3 of all the global applications we get. So that just demonstrates, and in fact, what you indicated, that India is a very important contributor to our talent, and we need to leverage that on an ongoing basis. So I'd just like to end my remarks by saying that today, for those who are going to be entering the profession, are in the process of writing your exams, and for those who are being mentors here, let's be intentional, take the time to listen, to learn and absorb as we go through the day. I know that, as you looked at my bio and you're thinking, okay, that's really interesting in terms of where I got to. It was because I had mentors from the time that I graduated from university, and as I continued in my career, it was always mentors who helped me, who saw the potential, and who helped me grow my toolkit. So, I basically at this point say to those who are starting the process, those who are contributing, it literally changes lives. It did change my life. I also am a daughter of immigrants who came here from East Africa. My dad was a business person, a successful business person. It was hard for him. He ended up working in a low-paying job in a golf club, but he wanted to make sure that my sister and I succeeded. We made him proud, and I hope that, in terms of everything that's going to happen here today, that we will open doors and it will make you proud. So I'm just going to finish with this familiar expression for at least accountants. Behind every good business, there's a great accountant. So now there are hundreds of great accountants attending here today, and you represent an important part of the future for the Toronto chapter, for the Vancouver chapter, and for Canada. Thank you so much for inviting me here today.
Thank you, Shamira. That was fantastic. Some of the stats that you mentioned about the immigration stats and the correlation between immigration and the impact on GDP, that's fascinating. And I was just listening to your story, the personal story about your father from Africa and how he wanted to have a better life, so he moved here. So it's a very touching moment, and I'm sure many of us in the room would be able to relate to that. We'll have a similar story to say. So thank you for sharing that. Can I invite Mr. Amit Goyal, past chairman of the Toronto chapter, to present a memento to Shamira? Applause should continue. Thank you, Shamira. I would now like to invite my good friend and a young and dynamic leader and the current chairman of the Toronto chapter of ICI, Mr. Vivek Kapoor, to say a few words. Vivek.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you. A lot has been said by the esteemed dignitaries, and I think my speech will be very diminished today. But as a role which I serve on the board as the chairman, which is a voluntary role, obviously, no compensation, so I have to deliver some address. So I will request your attention over here. I'm privileged and honored to be standing here in front of this August gathering today on a Friday morning, which happens to be a working day, and elated to see such a large gathering. We are around close to 200 people in this hall. So first and foremost, I welcome you all, and a big round of applause for all yourselves. Before I comment on the chapter or anything, I would like to, although it has been expressed by my colleague Ritesh, but I'll express my sincere gratitude to Scotiabank and to Raj Vishwanathan, the CFO, for extending their support and this wonderful venue and the arrangements here, without which this event would not have been possible. So it deserves another round of applause. A little bit brief about the Toronto chapter of the ICI. This was founded back in 2006, and since then it has been growing every year. The success of this chapter and the achievements can be accredited to the past chairmen of the chapter and their respective teams, some of them who are present here. And today is a special day where we will be launching another video of our mentors and the journey of the Toronto chapter of the ICI. For the benefit of those who might be thinking what a chapter is, why do we exist, and what do we do, I'd like to give a brief background, especially for those who are not the members of the chapter. We are regulated by our parent body, the ICAI, based in India. To continue with our education and license, we need to have certain number of continuous professional development hours every year. And when there is a lot of people from our fraternity are overseas, and when we are overseas, the parent body allows us, when there's a critical mass available, to incorporate a chapter and run the activities as a not-for-profit association and conduct professional development events like these ones, where our members get knowledge and the CPE hours are recognized. Also, it is interesting to know that our CPE hours are also recognized by institutes like CPA Ontario. So we have a lot of members from other institutes, including CFA Institute as well, who attend our sessions and claim the hours there. So that is what we do, and without the support of our sponsors, our members, and all the stakeholders, this functioning of this chapter is not possible because it takes a lot of personal time from our team members after their work and doing the regular business, whatever they are doing. So I'd like to request all of you to give a thunderous round of applause to our team sitting over here to contribute to this success. In terms of our activities, so far in 2023, we have conducted 12 professional development events, and we have had a social event. We do an annual family picnic for our members and their families. And very soon, we are going to announce a group tour to Japan. We are working the final details. So these kind of activities are possible when a group of people participate together. About the North American Talent Summit, we first conceived this idea in 2022, and thanks again to Raj and Scotiabank, where due to the support we could execute this event last year, and then we had a very good positive feedback and response, and a request to conduct it again. And that's when we approached Scotiabank once again, and we got the support again, and here we are in North American Talent Summit 2023. An event success is measured by the number of people who attended and the takeaway and the feedback we get from that event. As I said earlier, we got a very positive feedback, and due to which we were motivated, because it takes a lot of hard work. As Raj mentioned earlier, I started the process in February, and we started, after we got the venue, we started to plan the event, speakers, and we had some last-minute pull-out of speakers and replace the speakers and coordination of a lot of activities. So it's been, I think, 4 to 5 months of hard work put in by the team, which we are seeing the result today. And with that, and without much delay, I would like to welcome you all once again to this wonderful event. And I wish the North American Talent Summit 2023 a grand success. Thank you very much and enjoy the day.
Thank you, Vivek. Fantastic. May I now request Raj to present a memento to Vivek. Raj and Vivek, before I let you go, I do have a couple of acknowledgements to be made on behalf of the chapter. First, may I invite Mr. Donggu Bay, President and CEO of Shinhan Bank Canada, on the stage. Thank you, Mr. Bay, for supporting the Toronto chapter. May I request Raj to present a memento? Next on our list, may I invite Ms. Radhika Desai, Partner Financial Institutions Audit, KPMG, to receive a memento. Radhika, thank you for your support to the chapter. Vivek, if you can present a bouquet, please. Thank you, Radhika. May I now invite Ms. Jennifer Fidane Green, Partner, Risk and Forensic Advisory Services, Grant Thornton. Vivek, if you can present the bouquet. Thank you, Jennifer, for supporting the chapter. Thank you. Last, can I invite Mr. Deepak Arora, Chairperson of the Vancouver chapter of ICAI. Thank you. Now it's time for a special moment. The Toronto chapter, as you see today, was formed due to tireless efforts and contribution of fantastic leaders and mentors. These leaders laid the foundation for our chapter that it stands tall today. It is thanks to this solid bedrock that the Indian Chartered Accountant fraternity is very well known in the corporate and industry in Canada. It has also helped multiple members, newcomers, including me, to integrate and start their new life here, thousands of miles away from their birthplace. Today is an apt occasion in your presence to honor such leaders and mentors. These leaders, who went to take on chapter's chairperson's positions, took the chapter to newer heights in their respective tenures. It was a panel discussion that we shot, and it was hosted by the past chairman of Toronto chapter of ICAI. First of all, Mr. Himanshu Shah, a founding chairperson. Mr. Moin Ahmed, Mr. Amit Goel, Mr. Baljit Kaliravna, Dr. Raj Mantra, Dweep Mehta, Mr. Sandeep Patkar, and Vivek Kapoor. May I request a teaser of the panel discussion to be played to formally launch this video. Fascinating, isn't it? Please do not go by the editing that happened. I am seen being clapping. I was not directing any of the leaders. It was just the magic of editing. I'm generally a very well-behaved boy, so. Unfortunately, not all members could make it to today's event. I would like to invite the mentors who are present today, starting with the founder chairman, Mr. Himanshu Shah. The applauses must go on. Mr. Amit Goel, Mr. Baljit Kaliravna, Dr. Raj Mantra, Mr. Sandeep Patkar, and finally Vivek Kapoor. I would also request, you would also see a scan QR code on your respective tables. Please do scan that for the full video. It's a link which will take you to YouTube, and we have the full video there. Please feel free to share it amongst your friends, family. Huge round of applause, please. Thank you, everyone, and please take your seats. I hope all of you go through the video, share it, like it, and inspire others. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our opening ceremony. To go through the next session, may I invite another good friend, Vivek Kapoor, to take you through the talent panel discussion. Vivek, over to you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. There's a little bit of pause. We're just checking if all the panelists and the moderators are here. Just give us a moment, please. Sorry for the interruption. Based on the agenda, gentlemen and ladies, we had a session planned, but the speaker has suffered with COVID, the keynote speaker. So unfortunately, it was a virtual session, and he cannot log in, and that's why we had to skip one session ahead. We just got that information last night.
Sorry, there is some slight delay.
Okay, we can take a 10-15 minute break for those who want to grab a tea or coffee, and then we can reconvene in 10 minutes. Sorry about this interruption.